Hey guys, hope that you're having a fabulous week. Here I am in my living room sipping a delicious banana coconut milk latte. I'm going to link the recipe below. It's from Jillian Harris's blog and it's delicious. And I've been looking forward to sharing this update with you after coming back from a 10-day Vipassana meditation course just over a week ago. And I'm kind of giggly because I've lost the number of takes. I try to shoot updates in one take, but there's been all these little things, which maybe, I don't know, it's preparation for what my life is going to look like in the coming months. But I got a FaceTime call. I forgot to turn off FaceTime. Bolly was getting really excited at some point. Hadn't plugged in my computer thinking I had enough battery, but finally I was doing really well in my last take, but I was like, it's gonna shut off. So, and I don't want to edit. So anyway, here we go. Now it's plugged in. Bolly's lying down next to me. Coffee is getting a little bit cool, but that's okay. And here we are. And I've been wanting to share this with you. And so here we go, because I know a lot of people are curious about what Vipassana meditation is and are curious to see whether or not they should go do a 10-day course. And my hope in sharing my experience with you is that you will be inspired to sign up for a 10-day course, or maybe it'll also inspire you to sign up for another style of meditation that you've been considering. I've personally chosen Vipassana as a meditation technique that I want to continue practicing, at least at this time in my life. And I'm excited to share my experience with people, because I feel it's such a privilege to be able to attend one of these courses and such a gift to operate oneself. And hopefully, if you're inspired to do it, you will. And then you'll let me know how it went, because I'll be really curious to find out. So I didn't share this with you before because last week I kind of took a bit of time to, get back into my groove and integrate some of the lessons, and I just didn't feel ready to share it with you. And now here I am after having meditated on the couch. This is where I meditate now, which is really like it. I used to meditate on my meditation cushion, but kind of enjoying our couch is nice and firm now, so it works really well. And so I thought I'd sit where I tend to practice Vipassana. So before I go any further, for those of you who are like, what is Vipassana? What is she saying? If you've never heard what that is, just very simply, Vipassana is a meditation technique that's been around for thousands of years, and it's a lineage that was taught by the Buddha. And it kind of got, dissolved or lost for a period of time. And it was brought back to India from teachers who had kept it alive in Burma. And one of those teachers is S.N. Goenka, who left Burma to go bring it to India, and who in turn brought it to North America, and who is the person who is still teaching the courses via recordings. He's passed away now several years ago, but being an incredible man, and I guess had a really great team around him, recorded his teachings, and all 10-day courses around the world are still taught by his recordings. And there are teachers there too to guide you through the course as well. But there is this consistency, which I love. And S.N. Goenka, you can Google him and you'll see videos of him. Is a really joyful man and awesome human being who brought this technique to us, and I'm really grateful for it. And Vipassana, what it stands for, is to see reality as it really is, to see things as they really are. Simple enough, right? Yet it can be really challenging to be with what is and to see things as they really are. And so the practice and the technique is really to get you to see that and to develop and enhance your awareness and equanimity. Equanimity means that you're keeping the balance of your mind. You're not generating cravings for a certain type of thing in your life or aversion from things you want to avoid. And how we practice that through Vipassana is by gaining awareness of our bodily sensations. And that is really what Vipassana is. Now, I'm not here to teach you the Vipassana technique, but I just want to give you like the fundamentals. And that in and of itself is what it is. And it's incredibly powerful. It's a practice that I'm, wanting to keep on cultivating in my life. And that is why I went to do another 10-day course. So I just want to share with you a little bit about what brought me to Vipassana, because I know everyone's journey is a little different, and I feel that it might make a difference for you, because it took me several years before I actually had the courage and just the determination to sign up for a course and go do it. I believe I was first introduced to Vipassana when I was teaching yoga in Montreal. It was something I was hearing about by different teachers who are going to do these 10-day courses. And I have this flashback of me sitting at the Moksha on Saint Laurent, now known as Moto, and one of the teachers coming back and sharing her experience at the front desk and kind of overhearing. It's like, this seems like an interesting but also crazy thing to do. You go for 10 days, you meditate for 10 hours a day, you don't speak, you eat just vegan food, and apparently it's like the hardest and most amazing thing you're ever going to do in your life. That's kind of in essence what I had been hearing over the years, and pretty much is what what I experienced as well. Difficult and incredibly powerful. So from that point on, or I might have heard about it from someone else as well, but that's where I think I remember hearing about it first and foremost. I started hearing other people's stories. And then when I had a yoga studio, my business partner, Marlene, also did Vipassana, and she did it more than once as well. And it was a really powerful experience for her. Then we had some of our students do it. I remember Claude, who was a man in his mid 70s, who, started doing yoga at our studio and was inspired by Marlene's experience, signed up to do Vipassana. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. So it's clearly something for anyone. And so over the years, people just kind of kept on, nourishing the seed that had been planted originally. And I would take a look at the courses offered. I'd go on the website. There's a center not too far from here in Montebello, which is halfway between Montreal and Ottawa, but there's centers all over North America and all over the world. But I just never signed up. I always had an excuse. Most of the time, it was time. It's like I'd have to take off 10 to 12 days to be able to do that. And I always kind of wanted to take that time to go travel or something like that. Now, I don't have any regrets about the travels I've done. After doing my first 10 day, I was like, wow, this is a trip like I've never experienced before. And, you do it when it happens, right? You can't, the best time to plant a tree is yesterday, but otherwise it's now, right? So in any case, when my boyfriend and I started dating, I knew he had done Vipassana. He had shared that with me in our messages before. And on our first date, he shared his experience with me. And I was so inspired because he didn't have any meditation background or like yoga background, which is often where I would hear about it myself. And I just thought it was really powerful that he had heard about it through our osteopath. We have the same osteopath who told him about it, and he signed up, went for it, and it changed his life. And I ended up signing up a couple of weeks later. Like, obviously I had a crush on him, so it kind of inspired me too, but I was like, wow, this is awesome. Now's the time to do it. And so in October 2018, I did my first 10-day course, and it was incredible. I went into it with a really good mindset. I was really excited about doing the experience. I was really looking forward to it. And I think I was also physically prepared. I was meditating, or at least the way I thought I was meditating at the time was meditation. So I did have a certain, preparation physically, which I think is really important. I think that would be one of my first tips, is get your body ready. I did speak to someone after my first course who came up to me. She's like, you must, do yoga or something. And it does really help because you are sitting for a long time. If you're meditating 10 hours a day, it is nice to get your body prepared, so stretch, maybe do some yoga. It'll just make it a little more comfortable for you. But with that said, you are going to get uncomfortable. And the technique teaches you on how to deal with that, which you'll be fine. There was a lady in her early 80s that was in the first course that I did. So trust me, she can do it, so can you. So needless to say, I came out of there with incredible insights onto things in my life that I had spent a lot of time looking for answers to. And I saw just how much, you know within yourself. And it healed a lot of parts of me that I think felt unhealed, particularly a better understanding and compassion for some of the health issues I had in my life, particularly Crohn's disease and colorectal cancer. It's as if I understood why they happened, and it kind of took away a lot of, I think, the emotion that was attached to that. And it blew my mind that is something that came out of it. Relationships, it really deepened my relationships and also got me to feel a lot of love for people that I sometimes have a hard time feeling that for. And so I came out of there feeling really inspired, and I continued my meditation practice. And then it kind of went down because keeping consistency can be challenging. And so I went back and did a 3-day course. So this is the next thing that's important to know. When you sign up for Vipassana, everyone has to do the 10-day course first, which I think is fantastic because it's a really great way to immerse yourself, to learn to learn the technique, but then to also see whether or not it's something that's for you. Because if you do it for too short of a time, you won't get the benefit, because just 3 days are typically, the first 3 days are pretty challenging, and then it gets easier in a way. It is overall kind of challenging, but I couldn't see it being done any other way. So the 10 days, you're really devoting yourself to the practice. And I think no matter what it is, whether it's meditation or something else, if you can devote yourself fully to something for a period of 10 to 30 days, if not, to really see, is this going to work for me without infiltrating any other influences, which is why they ask you to practice noble silence, and you're not allowed to have contact with the outside world. There's no reading or writing when you're there. So it allows you to really see if a change that you feel in your life, you can associate it with the impact that meditation has had on your life. So needless to say, after you've done a 10-day course, you can do a 3-day course. And that was a really great way to reset and kind of get back into the practice. And I really appreciated being able to do a 3-day. When I found out I was pregnant, I knew I wanted to do a 10-day course. I was really inspired by women who I had seen in the previous courses that I'd taken that were pregnant. And I thought it'd be a really great way to prepare for what was coming, to connect to the baby, and to do another kind of reset and just get deeper into the meditation practice, because it is something that I share with my partner. And so it was interesting this time around. I actually, to be perfectly honest, the day that I arrived, I was feeling really kind of fragile. As some of you know, my mom went through some surgeries in the beginning of the year, and she wasn't feeling well the day that I left, and I was worried about leaving. And so I felt really emotional the day that I arrived, but I knew I was doing it. I wasn't going to back out, but I felt a little bit of anxiety going into it. So I'm sharing that with you because it's possible that that's going to happen to you, that you're going to sign up and then the day comes and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? That's okay. It's normal. And however you show up is the way you're supposed to show up. When you do it pregnant, they really take care of you. They really make sure that you're comfortable and that, that you're listening to your body, which I think is something you should take on whether you do it pregnant or not. It is a demanding course, but if you can, you're not there to torture yourself. You're not there to prove something to anyone. So listen to your body. And I did a fairly good job of that in my first course, but I think I would have done it all the more. And I did in the second course, and all the more this time. But to give you an example, physically, you'll get some discomforts when you're sitting on the meditation cushions. I sat on a chair for most of the 10-day course, or I would alternate between sitting on a chair and sitting on the meditation cushion or against the wall, which was really helpful. And in a way allowed me to go deeper into the technique because I wasn't as distracted with physical discomfort. And that would be one of my tips for you as well when you go to, adjust your posture when you need. Yes, there is a part where you're, encouraged to stop moving and really get settled. But if you can find a posture that you're comfortable with before starting a session or meditation session, then it'll make a really big difference for you. And it really did for me. I used to never meditate in chairs. I didn't really enjoy it, but now I really, really like it. And when I meditate on the couch now, sometimes I'm sitting cross-legged, other times I'm sitting normally, and it works really well. So be gentle and graceful with yourself. I also got to say, the food is really good. I've noticed when I speak to people, when I share that with them, they're like, oh, that's good to know. I was worried that I wouldn't like anything there. Not everyone eats a vegan diet. Most people don't, and are kind of concerned, what am I going to eat for 10 days? It's really quite nice. And even if you're not a huge fan of traditional vegan food, there's salads at every lunch. There's, peanut butter and jam if you need. And I think there's something for everyone. And they also do accommodate if you have special needs. So for someone who might have allergies or special dietary needs, for example, when you have done a 10-day course, when you go back, typically you don't eat afternoon, you just have tea. And when it's your first 10-day, then you can have fruit at 5 o'clock. When you're pregnant, they do offer you a meal because you're not there to, you know, like cleanse or something, and your food needs requirements are different. So I did have access to food when I needed, and when I needed snacks and whatnot. And I wouldn't have done it if that wasn't the case, but they are very accommodating. And there are other people who just have different, maybe they have food allergies, or maybe they have a history of a food disorder or something, and they can't like not eat for that reason. They will be accommodating to that. So I just want you to know, don't worry about it. I think the most important thing to know about Vipassana is the way it's run. It's so inspiring. All these centers are run around the world. They're independent foundations. And every course is run by the donations of previous students. And whether it's donations of money or time, everyone who's in that center, except for maybe 2 or 3 people who really run it full time, everyone's a volunteer. And it's, to me, one of the most inspiring things. So when you sign up for a 10-day course, you're not paying anything. You are going because previous students have donated, because it's made such a difference for them in their lives that they want others to experience this technique. And to me, I think that's just like such a touching movement to know that there's centers all over the world run by this kind of generosity for one another and for others. So know that you can go, and if at the end of the course you want to make a donation, they will tell you how you can. Some people financially they can't, and they might give their time, or others can give their time and their money or whatnot. There's many different ways to support the center. So this is something that has truly inspired me in experiencing Vipassana for myself, to receive that kind of generosity. And the teachers who are there, they're not getting paid a dime. When they've taught the last class, they walk out of there. They don't talk to you. They're not there waiting for an applause or anything. They are going there to just give you the best experience. And all the volunteers the same way. And it's really powerful. I do have a goal. I'd like to go and serve a 10-day course eventually. So that's something I'll do in the future. And for now, I can give a financial donation here and there. So I actually have a small monthly amount that goes to Vipassana. And it's cool to know that, I'm giving back, because it did give a lot to me. So that's kind of the gist of it. And for me this time around, it was really cool to feel the baby all the time. Sometimes a little distracting, because I'm at this stage, I'm 7 months now. I just started my 3rd trimester while I was in Vipassana, and the baby movements are really apparent, both internally, but also on the outside. I can see her move. And so it was really cool to be able to spend some time, meditating, but also like on breaks, I would sometimes just like watch what was happening and go for walks, which you can do between sessions, which to me is like so essential. After every meditation session, I'll go for a walk in the woods or something like that. It's a really nice way to refresh and stay active, because there isn't space for you to exercise or anything like that. You can do little stretches here and there, but there are walking paths, which is amazing. So I'm really grateful. And there was a midwife in the course. We got to chat at the end of it on the day we were able to talk, and she gave me a few pointers, which was really cool. And also she was like, this is a really good prep. She's like, this is like hypnotherapy, hypnobirthing on crack, which I thought was pretty funny. And I do feel that Vipassana has prepared me for delivery. And I'm glad that she also gave me some of her top tips, which we'll see how those turn out. So needless to say, that's a little bit about my experience. The one thing I do think about and share with people is the real Vipassana starts when you come home. And I kind of got that lesson again, coming home. I do recommend, if you can, take a day or 2 off. One, it's kind of like coming back from vacation. You need a day to like do your laundry, get your groceries going and whatnot, but also to kind of reintegrate, because it can be a little like, there's just a lot that gets moved around. And I think when you come back, for me this time around, what it felt like is, I had a lot of ideas that came and things I was like, I wanted to do, but when you're at Vipassana, you're like, there's nothing I can do about it. Like right now, all I can do is meditate. I'm here. I can't go anywhere. I can't talk to anyone about it. But coming back home, I was like, oh my gosh, now all these things I thought about, I have the possibility of taking action on them. And it almost felt paralyzing, because I was like, oh my gosh, and I felt really tired. So you got to give, at least for me, it's like giving myself that time to integrate and to continue practicing. They do recommend that you meditate morning and night, to keep up with the practice. I'm meditating once a day. For now, that's what I can really commit to. And then if I can do a little bit here and there, I will. But before I can really commit to 2 sessions a day, I'm just not prepared to do that right now. I did the first couple of days when I came home. Then I realized that once a day is just more realistic at the moment. And, I see this as an ongoing journey. It took me years to be able to sign up for a Vipassana course. Now my daily practice is getting stronger every time I take a course. And then I can assume it'll probably go down a little bit and then maybe it'll come back up. But it's a work in progress and I'm glad to be on that path. And so I hope that this answers some of your questions. I will link the Vipassana website below where there's a lot of information. If you have any questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out. It'll be my pleasure to provide you with the guidance that I can. And if you do sign up, please also let me know. It'll be such an amazing experience for you. And I'll be cheering you on and thinking of you when you go do it for sure. And I want to thank you so much for watching. And I'll be sharing with you a few more updates in the coming days. March 1st is coming up. And I'm working on something for you. And I'll also share a little bit of some pregnancy updates. I think some people have expressed that they've been curious and I've been hesitant to share a little bit more about it, but I'm realizing that I think it would be really fun to let you in, especially in the third trimester. And so you can stay tuned to some fun stuff. And with that, I wish you a beautiful day and I will see you next time. Bye.